So last week we had a question you were supposed to write down and maybe come back with some answers. I don't know if you thought about that, if you pondered it. Some of you said, I'm thinking about it right now. One of those people isn't here right now. So hopefully, what was the question? Do you guys remember the question?
Why do we follow Jesus?
Why? Why? What's your why? Give me a couple. Why? Anybody?
The question is, why do I follow Jesus? Is that the question?
That was the question. You were here last week. Go ahead, Tim.
I think he's been gifted to us as the perfect example of how to live our lives.
Okay.
I follow him for his wisdom.
Okay. Anybody else?
First thing that popped in my head, like we haven't talked about it in a while, but like the Jewish thought is like to answer a question with a question. Like the first thing that popped in my head is, why don't I follow Yeshua more than I currently do?
Excellent.
But like the answer, I also wrote an answer. Every time in my life that I've chosen to follow Yeshua's example, I've been amazed by the outcome. The more I follow Yeshua, the saltier I become. Just from, like, I moved down here on a Bible verse. It's like, what good is salt that's lost its saltiness? And that Bible verse has changed meanings over time. So I feel like it makes me saltier. Saltless.
Like too much salt? Because too much salt is not a good thing.
Salt.
Never have no salt.
Never have.
I think like
Rustin, is your answer still the same today as it was last week?
Yes. I remember, going to church and hearing about him. And as, I also remember the times when living how I want to live, and my life was in jeopardy. And I really believe that he saved my life a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
He's always been there, and never struck me dead when I felt like I deserved it. So I love him, and I haven't found nobody else like that.
Okay. Anybody else want to share? What was that?
He's constant. So like no matter what happens in life, he's the one thing that doesn't change. And I like that. I need that. That stability or whatever.
The one thing that doesn't change in life. Interesting.
See the picture you have up there, right? It's those moments, right? When he saves my life and I look at it and that's not my footprints.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
That's it, when there's only one, it's him. And he never fails to be that. Just have to realize he's carrying me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't deserve it.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So today I have another question for you. Nothing but questions. So last week was why, but today is going to be what? What is a disciple? And so we're going to break that down a little bit. Can you hit that first switch closest to me, Walt? What is a disciple of the first century? And then what does that look like today? What is a disciple? And so last week we talked about parents. What was the greatest joy of a parent? What did all parents want their kids hopefully to become? A rabbi, right? In the first century,
Oh, I got it.
all parents wanted their kids to become a rabbi. So the question then today is, okay, what does it take then to become a rabbi? What are the steps? Like if this is my hope and my goal is to be my kids to be a doctor, right? we put them on a plan. And there are some parents that start that plan early, right? They send them to the right preschools. They send them to the right elementary schools, to the right high schools. They start this pedigree so that they can get into the best colleges, and some parents are pretty forceful. I just had a conversation, right? Some parents are pretty forceful with their kids, like, this is what you're going to do. And parents are no different today than they were 2,000 years ago. There are parents that this is what I want you to do. And then these are just part of the things that are built within the culture as well. And so I learned this 20 years ago as I was starting this journey. I learned this process. And these were some of the earliest things that I learned as I was trying to figure out who Yeshua was and what he means to me. And so this journey, and I've taught maybe only a couple of you in here this, because I've taught it so many times that I forgot that some of you have never heard this before. So I want to go through a few of the ideas of what it looks like if you were in the first century, and it still actually happens to today. This has not been forgotten. These things still take place today. So very similar in Jewish school 2,000 years ago to, regular elementary school today or Jewish school today. Everybody, when you are 5 years old, 6 years old, now today we start at pre-K4, but typically you start school about 5 or 6, and same thing at 2,000 years ago. You would start school at about 5 or 6 years old. You would enter what's called Beit Safar, right? Beit, you guys remember what Beit is? Aleph, Bet, second letter of the alphabet. Beit is what? House, right? House, Safar. Safar is book. So school, you would start with the house of the book. And you would start at 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old, and this is where you would start to learn to read and to write. Right? This is what we do today. But in Beit Safar, what is your textbook? The Torah, right? This is your textbook, right? This is where you learn your letters, you learn your numbers, because remember in Hebrew, letters are what? Also numbers, right? So you learn arithmetic, you learn algebra, you learn geometry, you learn astronomy, you learn between 5 and 6. Yeah. You start at 5, you start learning this, and it's just a continual process. You learn all of these things, and you don't just learn them like we learn them. You memorize them. Yeah. And by the time you're 10 years old, most students have memorized the entire Torah. What books are the Torah? Do you know? What are they?
Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy.
Right? At 10 years old, you have it memorized. Right? This is the book that guides your life. This is the book that tells you how to live. This is the book that tells you how to do business. This is the book that tells you how to be a good judge, how to be a good parent, a good spouse. All of these lessons that you learn and memorize by the age of 10 years old.
Where do you learn that? You learn it at home or you learn it at a school?
Beit Safar, the house of the book. You learn it in Beit Safar is school.
You go to a school.
You go to a school. Well, you would go to the synagogue. Right? And so most rabbis in a community, their job was to not teach on Shabbat like we do. Their job was to teach Sunday through Friday.
Okay, Sunday through Friday.
The children. They were, what you do would be called a rabbi. Right? You would be a rabbi. Your job is to teach the students all week long. Then I expect you all to refer to me.
From now on.
Remotely.
Right? This is where we've kind of gone in a different direction. On synagogue, in 2,000 years ago, in the ancient synagogue, you would come and the rabbi wouldn't teach. A parent would come up and teach. Or a student. Hey, he's doing really good. He's going to come up, and they wouldn't teach. They would actually read a Torah portion, right? So a Torah portion is like 3 chapters of one of the books of the Torah. And then another person would come up, Lindley would come up, and he would read a portion of the prophets, right? And then maybe after reading one of these things, whoever read the prophets, then you might expand on maybe just a short commentary, 5 minutes, right? But the majority of your time in synagogue on Saturday was hearing the word of God. Even though at 10 years old, you've already had it memorized. But it's just reinforcing this over and over and over. And you hear this continually. And so at 10 years old, most kids then go to work. Ooh, God forbid today, right? It's time for you to go to work, Kennedy, right? No more school. Because that most
You should have been at work
kids
a long time.
live with a family who have a family business, right? You run a library, or you are a contractor. You work with construction or brick, or maybe you're a fisherman. Most people where Yeshua was they were fishermen, right? Yeshua was a contractor. Why was he a contractor? Because his dad was a contractor.
It's a carpenter.
What's that?
A carpenter.
Well, the word in Greek is actually not carpenter, right? We've made it that. But if you go to Israel, you'll look around and you realize there's no wood here, right? There's not much carpentry taking place. Really what he was somebody that worked with his hands, and probably he was a stone worker. He was probably, instead of wood, it was more like stone, because everything in Israel is like bricks, right? And you cut these bricks and you put them up, and everything is built. All of the ancient cities are built out of ancient bricks, not much wood. Now, he probably did all of it. He was probably a contractor that could do all of this stuff, not just carpenter. We've kind of translated that, and then we have this picture in our mind, like this is who Jesus is. It's a little bit different. But at 10 years old, most kids would end school and they would go to work in the family trade. They would go become fishermen, because it's kind of like graduating from high school. Some kids can graduate from high school and then go on to college because their grades are, good enough. And some of their kids are like, maybe you shouldn't go on to college. Maybe you should just not waste the money today and just go into a trade. Go do a job. And so this happened at 10. Most kids learned how to become fishermen or contractors at 10 years old. They would take on the family business and they would work from that point forward to help out. But if you were really good and the rabbi saw something in you, he would like, you know what? We're going to continue this schooling. We're going to continue to take you to the next school, which was called Beit Talmud, the house of study. And from 10 years old to 14 years old, you would continue to memorize the rest of the Tanakh. Now you would learn the history, the poetry, the prophets. You would learn all of this stuff, and you would memorize all of these things. And you were taught, as Alex said earlier, you were then taught the process of how to question. And so we think of questions as like, I'm going to ask you a good question, which is great, which was what they did. But what they did was they took it to another level. And they taught their students how to answer a question with a question. And not like, I'm going to ask you a question based on your question. I'm asking you a question, and my question actually answers what you just asked me. Try to do that. Try to learn how to do that. That's a difficult thing. It's kind of like, Lindley, here's an example.
Jeopardy. You always answer with a question.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's this question, Rustin. Rustin, how many children do you have?
But
Yeah, a lot. Okay, let me ask you this question. Three. Which child do you love the most?
How can I love one child more than the other?
Ah, very good, Walt.
What was the question?
Which child do you love the most?
How could I love one child more than the
I
other?
got you.
Right? So he answered my question, right? Right? He answered it.
Right.
But he answered it with a question. Now, at 10 years old, you start to learn this process. And if you remember, when Yeshua was brought to the temple by his family and they left him there,
Yeah,
you right?
that's what I was thinking. He was 12.
And his mother goes to him and says, "Where have you been? We're so stressed out. We've been looking for you. What are you doing?" And what does he say?
Why were you looking for me? I was in the house of my father.
Right. And it says that he was sitting amongst the rabbis,
Right.
and the rabbis were amazed at what? The text says? His questions.
Question.
Right? They were amazed at his questions. Not that he was asking the rabbis good questions.
He was answering.
Right. They were amazed. They were like, this kid's a prodigy. This is amazing. And so clearly he's got some training here. Where did it come from? We don't know. But this is the process that you find in this training. And at 14, now, once again, at 14, we're whittling it down. Most kids, all right, Rustin, man, you're great. You have a passion for God. It's obvious. But I think it's time that you joined your father's company. Yeah. But there would be some that would say, you know what? I think you can keep going. I think you're good enough. I think it's time that you're not ready to go to work yet. I think you need to move on to the next education. And I might have to lead you on to a different rabbi to take you on to this. And I'm going to send you to the house of learning, Beit Midrash, the house of learning, or the house of interpreting, Beit Midrash. And this was where a student was about 13, 14 years old. And this was the group of people that were the best of the best, right? You made it through Beit Safar, you made it through Beit Talmud. Now there's this elite group of students that have made it to Beit Midrash, right? These students have the Torah memorized. They have the Tanakh memorized. They have the question and answer memorized. They've learned all of this stuff. They're like these brainiac kids.
What's the Tanakh again? Just clarify that for me.
The Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim. The Torah, 5 books, the Nevi'im is the history, and the Ketuvim is the prophets. Sorry, that's in Hebrew. So the Tanakh is how they refer to their Bible, right? No Jewish person would ever say, we study the Old Testament. Because for them, they're like, it's not old, right? It's our Bible. It's the Tanakh.
Psalms and prophets?
In the writings, yes. Mm-hmm. Correct. And so you would go to a rabbi, or a rabbi would suggest, like, I think you should go to Ruston. And you would go like, I want to apply to your school. And then the rabbi would question you and ask you, a series of like really difficult things. What do you know? In the West, we want to talk about, it's a lot of times we think about, hang on a sec, I got ahead of myself. Beit Midrash, yes, is now, if I enter into this school, this is not like a classroom setting. If I enter into Beit Midrash, now I'm getting to the point where I say, I want to not just go to school, I want to be like you. This is the process of discipleship that leads to being a rabbi. I apply to a rabbi who has your own little tiny school that you work with. And I say, I want to be like you. I want to apply to your school, Corey. I want to follow you. In the West, when we think of schooling and we think of following somebody, we think, I want to know what you know.
Right.
But in first century, what does a disciple want to do? He doesn't want to know the information that you know. I don't want to memorize what you've memorized on. When I apply to your school, what am I saying? I want to be like you. I've watched you. I see how you interact with the community. I see how you teach your students. I see how you treat your wife. I see all of these things. I've heard your teachings of how you interpret the scriptures and live the scriptures out. I want to be like you. I want to apply to your school and I want to be like you. I want to do what you do. I think I can. I think I can do what you do, and I think I can be just like you. So then the rabbi would question them, ask them all kinds of grueling questions, to which most students, the rabbi would say, it is clear you are committed, you're passionate about this, you're passionate about God, but I think you should just go to your family's business. Most students who apply, they get cut. But now the best of the best of the best get asked by the rabbi who would say, you know what, I think you can do what I do. I think you can be like me.
This is only in the first century, right? They don't do that no more. They have
it is different
an
now.
education process now, right?
It is different now, yes. Yeah, it's more formalized. But in the first century, it was this process, yes.
Are they asking them questions about what they know, about their knowledge, or about their thought process on what they've learned?
Is the rabbi asking?
Yeah, you said that they ask, I want to know you, I want to know, like, are they like quizzing them, or are they inquisitive?
It's both. They are asking the disciple questions about the Torah, what they've memorized.
Okay. What do you know?
Tell me Genesis, the third scroll.
Okay.
Right? And third scroll. So how many chapters? We have chapters and verses, right? They have scrolls. So the third scroll, you have to know, okay, the third scroll probably picks up with Abraham. So you want me to recite the entire scroll. Okay. So from Abraham on, right? They would have to know what the rabbi is asking because they roll out the scroll and like this, because there's no numbers.
Okay.
right? So you have to know all of this stuff and memorize it. And so I'm going to ask you to quote these things that you memorized. And then I'm going to say, okay, what was Abraham's intention with Sarah?
Right, exactly.
Right? And so I'm going to ask you this, and then you're going to respond what?
Your interpretation of it?
No question.
Bang.
Oh,
Right? You're going to answer my question with a question about Sarah. Right? Well, why was Sarah so important to you're going to, so this debate is going to, it's really, this application process is like a debate, right? You're having this debate discussion with a rabbi, and sometimes it might even get a little heated, right? Because you're like, you have this point that you want to get across, and the rabbi is going to take the opposite of what he believes because he wants to see how far you're going to take this. Do you really believe this? Or can I sway you? Because if I can sway you, you're out. And so
there's no right and wrong, right?
yeah,
You've
for the
talked-
rabbi,
Yeah.
there is right and wrong. Because he's like, can you really be like me? I don't know. So there might be a wrong, there might be a right. But I want to know if you can really do what I do. I want to know, can you be like me? You say you can you? So I'm going to make this really hard. And if he thinks that he can, which are the very few, the best of the best of the best, he says, come, follow me. I think you can do what I do. I think you can be like me. I believe this. Now, this is the process of the rabbis. Now, let's open up the text. We're still in Matthew chapter 4. Somebody read to me chapter 4, verses 17 through 20.
Go ahead, Alex.
From that time, Jesus began to preach, saying, "Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." While walking by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." Immediately they left their nets and followed him.
Before The Chosen, there was all of these like terrible Christian movies, right? Where you would see this scene, and it would be like these fishermen, and all of a sudden Jesus would say this, and it would be like, okay, I'm going to follow you. Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, why? Right? From our 21st century, we're like, why? Why are they following this guy? You're just going to come up and say, follow me? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Until you know, what was this? What did Jesus say? And he said to them, follow me. What is he saying? Who uses this language? A rabbi to whom? To a disciple. He says, he looks at these guys and he says, I think you can do what I do. I think you can be like me.
Is there some background with Andrew that he had been John the Baptist's disciple or something?
Some of these, yeah, some of the disciples, we do see that, yes. How that process worked out, I don't know, because John the Baptist was very similar to Yeshua, right? He had his own like system, which I have my own theories on, but I won't get into now. But
Okay. We'll talk about that later.
But two things pop out. One, here Yeshua is saying, I think you can do what I do. Who are these guys? What are they doing?
Regular Jews.
They're fishermen. In fact, it says they're with their dad, right? Isn't that what you do when you get out of Beit Safar? You go to work for the family trade. You're fishermen. You're working with dad. Peter is older. He's over 18. So we don't know what happened to his family, but he's out there fishing as well. He's doing his job. This is their trade. What are they not? They're not the best of the best of the best. They're just fishermen. These guys didn't make it to Beit Midrash. They probably didn't make it to Beit Talmud. They're just out doing the family job. And here Yeshua says, yeah, I know you're not the best of the best of the best, but you know what? I think you can be like me. And what does it say? They followed him immediately. when I first read this text years and years ago, I was like, why didn't the dad say, where are you going? I mean, my dad said, hey, get your butt back here. Like, we got fish to clean. We got nets to roll up. We're following some strange guy. The context of the culture, once again, what is a parent wanting for every child? If your son gets called by a rabbi, go. I got the nets. I got the fish. Don't you worry. Thank you, Lord. Oh my God. I thought he was going to be a loser and just working on the nets. This rabbi must be crazy because he called my son, but go.
Well, I have a question. Like, I thought Jesus wouldn't have looked the part of a rabbi. Like, I don't picture him in rabbi clothes. I mean, unless they're just
Rabbi clothes?
But I mean, like, would he say, follow me, and the dad look at him and be like, yeah, sure. Whereas I feel like a lot of people disagreed with the way that Jesus lived. So would he have been okay with, like, this random stranger, or do you think he would have known about Jesus ahead of time?
He just performed a miracle, didn't he?
Good question.
He just comes out of the desert, and he had been teaching previously that in a synagogue. But my first question back to you would be, what does a rabbi look like?
They had
Like a Pharisee on the
Right?
chosen.
I mean,
Like a
have
Pharisee on the chosen.
we been taught to believe that this is what a rabbi looks like?
Right, exactly.
I mean, because in so much art, you see like the rabbis in the Pharisaic dresses with the big black coats and the hats and all this other stuff, right? And there were the Pharisees that dressed like that. Absolutely. Did the Sadducees dress like that? No, they had a different garb that they wore. Were there only rabbis that were Pharisees or Sadducees? No, there was actually about 30 different sects in Jerusalem at this time, if not more. There was all kinds of different sects of S-E-C-T-S, sects,
And
right?
some of them came out of the desert, right? Some of the process was the desert.
And my belief is some of them came out of the Essene community. Yes,
John the
right.
Baptist considered a rabbi.
I'm sorry, what?
John the Baptist considered a rabbi.
He was?
But he probably looked pretty rough.
He did. He said he wore camel's hair and ate honey. Right? He was half naked. Yeah.
How do we know that?
How do we know
It
what?
doesn't say that in the text.
Well, if he was
Yes,
in
it
the
does.
scene, he lived outside.
It says what he wore and
We
what
don't
he
know
ate.
that he was a rabbi.
No, it doesn't.
say
But
that.
it does say that he had disciples. So you can only be a rabbi if you have disciples. So these are the things that are embedded in the text that if you understand the culture, you see these make these connections, right? As opposed to in our English, right? Everything has to be spelled out.
So that means you're a rabbi?
I am if you take the word in Hebrew, a teacher, yes, I would say that I'm a teacher.
I
Absolutely.
accept that.
So now let's go to the next passage.
I do.
So this is the context of who we're talking about, these guys right here. Now let's move forward a little bit to Matthew chapter 14. You got me, Corey? 14, 22 through 28? Matthew 14, verses 22 through 28.
This is fun.
22.
14, 22 through 28, yes.
Immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. But the boat by this time was a long way from the land, beaten by the waves, for the wind was against them. And in the fourth watch of the night, he came to them walking on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified and said, "It is a ghost." And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Take heart, it is I, do not be afraid." And Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water."
Excellent. It's a ghost. It's a phantom. No, it's just me. Don't worry. All right, that passage alone is like, what the heck is going on? What are you talking about? Right? Could you imagine, like here, the setting the scene once again. They're in this boat. It's rough out. The wind, the waves are crashing upon them. Yeshua did this miracle, and he said, "You guys go ahead I'll catch up to you. Well, what does that mean? What do you mean you're going to catch up to us? Okay, like you commanded it, so we'll go. So he sends them out in the dark across the lake. Now, the lake is a part of where they work on a regular basis, but the lake is also what they consider very dangerous, because in this lake, the wind can come up, and I've been there, and it just like comes up out of, kind of like storms come here. Like it's sunny, like it's going to be sunny all day, don't worry. And then all of a sudden, boom, 1 o'clock, what happens? It's like a torrential downpour.
Just think about Lake Pontchartrain, people drowning in it all the time.
Right. So it's that type of a lake. It's dangerous. You don't know. It looks beautiful, and all of a sudden, it could be dangerous within minutes. And so here Yeshua is like, hey, it's beautiful out. You guys go out. I'll catch up. And they're out there fighting against the wind all of a sudden. There's this storm going, and they're seeing all this stuff, and the fear, if you're out on the water is palpable at this point. Like you feel like there's something wrong. And then all of a sudden you see what? This man walking on the water. Has anybody ever talked about that before? Like they didn't have sci-fi back then. They had the Greek mythology and stuff like this, but I don't remember anything in Greek mythology or anything like this, stories in the Talmud or anything like this that talk about a man walking on water. This is the first. And so what is your reaction when you see this? What curse words are coming out of your mouth at this point, right? You're just like, what the heck am I seeing here? And Yeshua says,
saying, row, wait,
Get away!
John, pick up the ark.
Say, am I dead?
Yeah, you could, yeah. Have you seen the AI memes now? Like crazy, yeah.
Oh, I love them.
So, Yeshua says, don't worry, it's me. What does Peter say?
If it's you.
If it's you, command me to come out here. Why?
Is it really you?
Why does Peter ask this question?
He wants to do what Jesus says.
He wants to be just like Jesus is.
Oh.
Be just like his rabbi.
Now think about that.
I gotta think he's being you gotta reassure me, don't you? I mean, that's what I like.
Very good. Who are you in this situation? Right? Because here you are, the waves are crashing, the fear is upon you, this ghost that becomes all of a sudden Yeshua is in front of you. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? Are you really going to say, I think I want to be like you. Right? This is great. And who's Peter, right? He's a fisherman. He's not the best of the best of the best. He got for some reason, he got asked to be along with this group, right? And how many times does Yeshua look at Peter in frustration and say, don't you get it yet? At least 3 times he tells Peter, you're a freaking knucklehead, which, in Hebrew, the word for rock in Aramaic isn't a nice word.
What is it? What's it mean?
Petra.
Petra, what's it mean?
Petra means rock, like dummy. Hardhead.
Hardhead.
Yes.
Love it.
Here's the hard-headed knucklehead that says, I want to be like you. Call me out.
Plus, he's in his environment. This is Peter's spot.
Yeah.
He knows the water.
He knows the danger that he's in right now.
Exactly.
So, am I right that there's that word, Don? I told you don't tell me that word.
Right?
Go ahead.
Back then, they had a very great fear of the water.
Yes.
Even though they were fishermen, they thought like the water was the abyss. It was, really. They were.
Hold on to that thought. I'm getting there. I'm
I
coming. But you're right. You're 100% chaos. Go
They
ahead.
respected the water. Think about
They
that.
respected it. There was a dual
Right.
thing. It was fear
Dual.
and respect. They
It's
respected
dual.
it because they could die, but there
You
was a
want water
fear of it
alive,
because
it's a dual thing.
of what it represented. And I'm going to get there in just a second.
Okay, I'm going.
So here's Peter, right? He says, if this is you, I'm the knucklehead. You said, follow me. All right, I want to be like you. I want to, in all of this fear and chaos and all this crap that's happening right now, is this real? For whatever reason, Peter's the only one who says this.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Prove it.
Knucklehead says, command me. He doesn't just say, invite me, command me, tell me to come to you. 29, you got it? Oh, did you already put it away?
No.
Verse 29.
He said, "Come."
Stop.
Come.
What does a rabbi say to a disciple? Come.
Follow me.
Come. You want to be like me? Come. Keep going.
Sure.
Like you're sure. That's a
Peter
question.
got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus.
And he walked on the water. Yeshua said, "Oh, you want to be like me? Come." And he did.
He did.
I think we fast forward past this verse a lot. Right? We think, oh yeah, Yeshua walked on water. Jesus walked on water. Okay, yeah, yeah. Whatever you want to, divinity, God, whatever you want to put on it. Like, yeah, of course he did. But what does 29 say? Peter, knucklehead, fisherman, disciple, walked on water. He did what his rabbi was doing. Verse 30 and 31.
God is coming.
But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, "Oh, you of little faith, why?"
Oh, knucklehead. You were so close. You were just right there.
But aren't we all Peter?
You better believe it, brother.
Well, let me ask you this. That's a great question. That's a great question.
That's right.
So, Peter, let me ask you this. What did you doubt?
Everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Because isn't that what the text says? The text says, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt?" What did you doubt, Peter?
I just doubt that I could walk on water like
Yeah,
that
you're right.
and
Yeah.
follow.
So think that's the text doesn't say he doubted Yeshua. Why would he doubt Yeshua? Yeshua walked out on water. What did Peter doubt?
He doubted himself.
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 And so your question is perfect.
Right.
How many of us doubt ourselves? The sea, the wind, the waves, Rustin, in the Torah represent what? Chaos. How many of us struggle with the chaos in our lives? The struggles, the stress, the drama, the messiness of stuff, right? Of people. Yet Yeshua says what? Come. Come on. How often do we doubt or believe I'm not good enough? I can't do that.
You know, we would say, most people say, well, I'm not Jesus.
Oh.
That's what a lot of people say.
You getting nitty and gritty right now?
Well, Peter, right? You are right on. We think, well, that was Jesus. I could never be like Jesus. But what did Peter just do? What is a disciple supposed to do?
Right.
A disciple is supposed to be and do what their rabbi did
What
and is.
I gotta say this. What does Paul say all the time? Transform your mind and be Christ-like.
And how many of us struggle in our mind because of the things that we doubt or the things that we tell ourselves? I can never do that. Don't you know where I come from? Don't you know my history? Don't you know, like, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I could never do this.
Yep.
And who did it? The one frickin' knucklehead.
The Rock.
The Rock. The hard-headed guy. You gonna say something?
With me, like the further it's because it happens to me all the time. I'm like a yo-yo. The further I get away, the more chaos
Oh.
is in my life.
Tohu vavohu.
That is it, brother, right there. Tohu vabohu. Bang. That needs to go up on the back wall right there. Yes. So to answer that statement, Lindley, I've seen these statements happening over the past several years, and they just keep hitting me in the right moments. And there's 3 different ways that I've heard, but 2 within the last, 6 months that I've seen over and over and over. And they're these 2 statements. One says this: energy follows intention. And the other is, where attention goes, energy flows. And I've sat on those for a while. Energy follows intention. Energy flows where your attention goes. When you're focused on the drama, when you're focused on the problems, the things that aren't working, when you're focused on the messiness of the people in your lives, you're focused on the stress, you're focused on the negativity, where does your energy go?
Right there, Vic.
Doesn't your energy then become angry or frustrated or depressed or anxious? When we focus on these things, when we focus on the chaos, what happens?
Okay.
We fall like Peter.
Isn't it, I think you just read in Isaiah 2, right? It says, if your mind is stayed on him, he gives you perfect peace. For those whose mind is stayed on him, I was in Isaiah, and
Amen, right.
that came up, you know, what you're talking about right now, you know, where your intention's at, you know, if your mind is stayed on him, you know, then he gives you perfect peace. And that word peace being shalom, meaning nothing missing, nothing broken, wholeness, completeness.
So yes, and I'm gonna go there and expand on that. No, it's good.
Where your treasure is, right? Where your treasure is.
Focus. What are you focusing on?
They in James, I think James chapter 1 verses 7 to 8, something like that, was that if you're double-minded and you be like double-minded and you fall in all your ways, something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, double-mindedness. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Same with the tongue, and same with faith. What is faith? In Greek, the word for faith is what? Pistis. Good, Rustin. Pistis. Which unfortunately,
Don't sound too-
you're right. This is going to be a struggle for you, Don, right? Unfortunately, in the word for pistis is my mind, what I believe in my mind. And for faith, for a lot of people, it has to do with what I agree with in my mind, right? Which is half the battle, in my opinion.
Yep. Whew, half. It's all.
The Hebrew word for faith is what? Good job. Emunah. Oh, it's up there. I was like, that was awesome right there. Yes.
Good job, Emily.
Which means, come on, you're gonna give me more than that, you know what I mean? Give me what it means.
Faith is what I do.
Oh, I like that.
Faith is what I do. It's how I live.
Oh.
It's not just I can have a conversation and you can say, yes, I believe in Jesus. Okay, that's great. I should be able to see that you believe in Yeshua by the way you live your life, the way that you speak to your spouse, the way you treat your children, the integrity that you have in your job. That's why I say it's pistis is only halfway. You have to act upon it, right? Peter could say, yeah, I think I could do that. I can do that. No, I'm not going to get out there and do it. How many of us do that?
Just believe it.
Right? We say these things. We say, I believe this. We say this, but do we actually act upon that? Because that's what faith is. It's not just what I think or say I can do. It's what I actually
I don't think the
do.
pieces get you what you want. It might tell you how to get it or what you can have, but it doesn't get it. But it's the yada,
Right.
the experiential knowledge, which is faithfulness. We're being faithful to what we.
Well, how many of us can't experience Yada because we only think about it?
That's right.
That's
Because
right.
we don't do it.
We got to
Right, we don't
do
live
it,
it.
right?
Yes.
And so what is, from an Eastern perspective, faith is what I do. What does Yeshua say? Come.
You said a lot, bro.
He
I
says,
know.
he says, what does he say to his disciples? Come. He doesn't say, do you believe with my statements? Do you agree with what I think theologically? Do you agree with what my teachings? No, he says, come. Let's do this.
But we're taught we can't do it.
I don't care what you're taught.
I'm just saying, from the beginning.
That's the problem.
From the beginning,
Right.
I'm taught I can't be like Christ.
Yes.
That's right.
From the beginning.
And so here's one of the things that separates us from a lot of other groups, right? I was taught by my mentor. He hit me, boom, right between the eyes, maybe, I don't know, 15 years ago. He said, Matt, what's more important, the doctrine or the text?
Yeah.
What's more important? Yeah, there are these doctrines that are there that say this is what you're supposed to believe, pistis.
Yeah.
But what does the text actually say? Are you willing to live out what the text actually says? When Yeshua says, come, do you believe, like Peter, that you can do this stuff?
So, I don't think it's necessarily like just that, I don't think the choice is that simple. And I think what Don is saying, when he's saying that you're taught from it young, we talked about this, right? It's the whole culture.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that it was said at church. It was that it was emphasized in everything that you did. Everything in St. Bernard wrapped around the Catholic Church. Even businesses, the blue laws, you wasn't allowed to have certain businesses open on Sunday. All of this was like, oh, well, we got to get the Catholic Church's permission before we could change this, right?
Yeah.
And so it was with our attitudes, it was with everything. So now you have what we're talking about now, this text. And so things that's been ingrained in us from generation to generation, right? Now it's almost like we need to be, there's got to be like a convincing,
Yeah, you got
to renew your mind consistently and do it.
Wait, let me ask you a question.
So that's the tough part, I think, because it's ingrained.
Don't you think Peter had those same problems?
Yes, absolutely he did.
Right. So did all the disciples. They were taught to believe like this is how you do life. And then all of a sudden you have this new rabbi that says, I think you can do what I do, even though you didn't make it through Beit Midrash. I'm going to teach you these things, and you're going to witness things, and you're going to see the Pharisees like saying, what are you doing? You can't do that, right? You're going to see your rabbi have confrontation with people who don't agree with him. Not just what he believes, but what he's actually doing. And you have to make a decision, a disciple, saying, am I going to continue to, look at all these people. They're against him. They're saying all these negative things. And the fear and the doubt, like, are we doing the right thing? Is this the rabbi that we should be following? But I'm witnessing things. Peter just freaking walked on water.
Right.
He just fed thousands of people. This man who was blind since birth can now see. That these things are not, how does this happen? This is not real. It's like I'm living in their mindset and a movie. They didn't have those back then.
I think that,
You can't see unless you get the clarity of the other stuff out of your mind. So reborn is to change your mind, guys.
So energy follows intention, right? If your intention is always focused on what you can't do or you can't be or you're not good enough, that's where you're going to end up.
what did you teach us about, there was a saying, I talk about like, it's why we don't learn things. It's not because of what we don't know, but because of what we think we know, something like that. Remember that?
What was our
What holds us back from learning is what we think we already know.
Right.
Here's a word for it, it's,
Yes.
like our paradigm?
no, it's not paradigm, it's,
Cognitive dissonance.
Oh, I gotta
Cognitive dissonance. What holds all people back from learning is what they think they already know.
Yeah.
And this is where we get stuck in the church. We have all these bricks and says, this is what I believe. And then if Don says, well, what about this? It pokes a hole in this brick and it comes out. I'm like, well, okay, I guess I can deal with that. And then you start poking another brick and another brick comes out. All of a sudden, the people on the other side of the wall say, what? There's too many bricks coming out. We got to fight against this to say, no, you're wrong about those other bricks. You're just wrong. You can't do it.
Like, don't read this guy. Don't
Right.
Don't read
And
this
so
guy.
what holds us back from learning and expanding our minds is what we think we already know. And we're way off topic here, but let's get back.
Sorry.
No,
That's okay.
You got some good stuff going on, brother.
The Torah and the apostolic writings give us an instruction on life. These are the words that we're to put on our heart when situations arise. I know this is what I'm supposed to do, Lindley. How do I follow? Well, if we know this, it comes out. If I'm in a conversation and somebody's saying something, I have words to share with them. If I'm challenged by a situation and what's the right decision, all of a sudden something from Leviticus or Deuteronomy or Matthew says, let your yes be yes. All right? No, don't do that. All of a sudden these words come from within you and you know how to act on these things. And when Yeshua says, come, I don't doubt. I just do it. I act upon this, even though the situation and everybody and my peers are saying, don't do this. We should do this instead. We should do this and this. And you know that Yeshua says, no, this is what you should do. Do you act upon it? I do. Why? Because Yeshua thinks I can do what he does. I'll never, if I don't believe that I can. If I always doubt myself, if I always doubt I'm not good enough, I just can't do it, you'll be correct. But if you're in a situation and Yeshua says, no, go take the step, you'll never know that yada until you actually go out and do it. You put yourself in a position where you've been called to do it and you act. Because so many of us have this struggle. Like Peter, I can't be like him. He's God, right? He's Jesus. I can't be like him. But if that were the case, then why would he be a rabbi? If that were the case, why would Peter walk on water? If that were the case, why would we see later on these disciples, after Yeshua's gone, performing miracles themselves? If they didn't actually believe that they could be like him and started to do what he did, why do we doubt? Why do we doubt that we can be like him and do what he does? I have a video that I think we showed a few weeks ago, but really short format. This is the longer format. This is 4 minutes, so hang with me. But as I was looking at this teaching the past 2 weeks, all of a sudden I see the context of this and everything that we just talked about. I want you to see and ask, who are you in this video?
Shalom.
Me?
Yes.
Shalom.
I have a question for you.
For me. I don't have many answers, but I'm listening.
Do you want to be healed?
Who are you?
We'll get to that later. But my question remains.
Will you take me to the water? Look, I'm having a really bad day.
You've been having a bad day for a long time. So?
Sir, I have no one to help me into the water when it's stirred up. And when I do get close, the others step down in front of me. And so...
Look at me. Look at me. That's not what I asked. I'm not asking you about who's helping you, or who's not helping, or who's getting in your way. I'm asking about you.
I've tried.
For a long time, I know. And you don't want false hope again, I understand. But this pool, it has nothing for you. It means nothing. And you know it. But you're still here. Why?
I don't know.
You don't need this pool. You only need me. So, do you want to be healed? So let's go. Get up, pick up your mat, and walk.
I'm free to walk, like he said. Don't forget your bed.
Why does this matter?
Because you're not coming back here. That life is over. Everything changes now.
Changes.
So how many of us, I can't because of the pool, the person, or that thing, or this, or these, all these reasons, I can't do this. And I think this scene captured it really well, because what did Yeshua say? Look at me. Look at me. Where is my attention? Is my attention always on, I can't do this because of that person, or I don't have enough money, or I can't do this because of all these problems, all these reasons that I'm the victim, or I can't do this, I can't accomplish it, or I'm not good enough? She says, look at me. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. Do you doubt? Do you blame? Or do you act? Yeshua calls us, come, follow me.
I just want to make a point. You know, we've taught like it's going to be this spiritual miracle, but it's really your mind. He works in your mind. Okay, that's what works.
I think their mind is what holds us back.
Yeah.
And we have to clear that. But then the next step is to act.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's both.
And
And what holds us back is the garbage that is in here. And the self-doubt and the self-pity and the unworthiness and all these things. I can't. But do we believe that Yeshua can heal us from that too?
And as you act, it kicks in what Rustin said, experiential faith. You see it happening in front of you.
Right.
You see the miracles in front of you.
And Paul mentions this too. He says that you have to go against any thought that weighs that brings us higher than the thought of Christ. I'm paraphrasing it, folks. But if you understand the verse, any thought that brings us up higher than the thought of Christ, something like that.
I don't know that verse. You'll have to pull that up.
Yeah.
But to go with maybe what both of you are saying, Paul does say, do not conform any longer to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
Over and over.
Right? So there's this idea that where your attention goes, your energy flows. Are we looking at Yeshua? Yes.
Was that an actual physical thing, or was that a mental thing that he couldn't get out?
How many hours we got, man?
Depends on.
What do you think?
I'm thinking it's mental.
It's all mental.
Could be. Could be mental, could be physical, could be both. I don't know.
Your
I mean,
mind-
the mind, I don't think it's just mental, because when Yeshua healed the man that was born since birth, right? Couldn't see since he was born. There was no mental there.
What kind of sight we talking about?
It said that he was blind.
Blind to what?
Blind.
Blind to vision.
Blind to this different level. That
I don't know. It just says blind, right? I think that there's levels and it all connects. It all connects somehow. But the focus of today is what? What does it mean to be a disciple?
God took you way past that, my friend.
What holds you back from following fully? What holds you back from fully devoting yourself to pursuing Yeshua? Because he believes in you. Do you believe in yourself? Father, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for Shabbat. We thank you for just this one day a week that we are reminded that we are to pursue you with all of our heart. And that you give us this day to rest, to be renewed, to be refreshed by you, that you have set this time aside in time and space for us. I pray that we can open our hearts and our minds to you. May you fill us as we focus all of our attention on you. We praise your holy name. Amen.